So right now there is a lot of smoke revolving around the Detroit Lions offense coordinator Ben Johnson and the Jaguars' potential head coach opening, which we will of course talk about. But first, want to give a shout out to this video's sponsor, BetUS. And guys, one game left on the season. One game left against the Indianapolis Colts. The Jaguars are 5-point underdogs. And look, sweeping the Titans, it's fine, but please lose to the Colts. The Jaguars will drop pretty severely in draft spot. I think we're at number 5 right now. We'd probably drop to number 9 or 10 if we lose that one. Just stay put. Number 5 overall is a pretty good spot. I'm fine with it, okay? But if you guys want to get in on the fun, BetUS is going to offer a 150% deposit bonus using promo code YouTube150. So yeah, that's 150% on your first deposit and 125 on your second and third. Please gamble responsibly if you do so. So yeah, Ben Johnson. Of course, last night, Monday Night Football, the Detroit Lions were out there playing the 49ers, and it's just, I'll be honest, it's so much fun watching the Detroit Lions. Between the offensive talent that they do have, Jared Goff is really ascending into a top-tier NFL quarterback under him, but also just seeing Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, they do the hook and ladder plays. It's just, between the talent and just the offensive coaching, it's just quite a show to watch. I mean, they are so extremely enjoyable, and, that is Ben Johnson's offense, okay? Ben Johnson is running that whole entire thing, and it's funny because Ben Johnson, he's like the top guy. I mean, he's been the top coaching candidate. Coaching candidate. Seems like it's him up here, and then a gap, and then everybody else. And then now, Bill Belichick's gone, so now a lot of people kind of want Mike Vrabel. These teams that are, kind of like the Jets or maybe the Browns, teams struggling to find their real guy. They say, you know what? Why don't you just bring in a proven guy? But for Jaguars and really teams with already a quarterback, they're all wanting Ben Johnson. And it kind of sucks to be a Jags fan because it feels like we've just been running a quicksand these last few months because the Jaguars in September went 0-4. Okay, so boom, we're in a very familiar situation where we are playing meaningless football in October. The season is done by October, and the Jaguars weren't good in October either. I believe they went 2-2, and then halfway through the season, you're 2-6. Okay, and then you're done. No, wait, I think they only won one game. No, they won 2. They beat the Colts and Patriots. So yeah, they were just in a bad situation. At no point did we ever think the Jaguars were going to do anything. But the thing is, unlike the New York Jets or unlike the New Orleans Saints or unlike the Chicago Bears, we know our head coach is going to be gone, but we haven't done anything about it. Okay, it's just been Doug and Trent, Press Taylor, Ryan Nielsen, and the whole crew, and just radio silence. So we've just been kind of going forward, just accepting the fact that this is going on. There's been no coaching changes. Like, Doug Peterson said, during the bye week we made some changes, but I'm not gonna tell you guys what I did. We just made coaching changes. It's like, okay, thanks, Doug. So recently, Pete Prisco actually made a tweet. He said, Ben Johnson's offense will be so good for Trevor Lawrence, but won't happen unless Balky is gone, which, yeah, you're kind of saying the gospel. Okay, we all kind of understand that. And then Chad Forbes at NFL Draft Bites, who has a pretty good platform. He's on a lot of shows, and we've seen his name pop up a lot. I'm not sure what his sources are, but he is a guy that has a ton of followers, and he says that Ben Johnson to the Jaguars is the worst kept secret in the NFL. It's a done deal. It'll be one of the Lions executives or Ben's pick for GM. 7 years, $80 million, which this right here is music to our ears. If you want to figure out if anything this offseason can just win all Jaguar fans back, it's just 3-sentence tweet right here. If all this comes to fruition, boom, we are back, baby. We are back. Because I know a lot of people know Doug Peterson is going to be gone. But then a lot of people are more so worried about, is Trent Baalke going to be gone? Because, Trent Baalke has had quite the stranglehold on this Jaguars fan base. So, and just, Trent Baalke is just notorious for, even dating back to his 49ers years, is just being a GM there and then just cycling through head coaches. I think he went through 3 or 4 for the 49ers, and he's been through 2 head coaches for the Jaguars. Not many GMs get a 3rd head coach. So, we'd be sitting here thinking okay, could he possibly stay? Now, one thing that came out yesterday from Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated. He had, some of these guys come out with different tidbits and NFL rumors, and he kind of has a column about it. And, when it comes to head coach openings, this is what came up. He said, Jaguars owner Shad Khan has taken his normal measured approach, staying quiet while allowing GM Trent Baalke and coach Doug Peterson to finish out the season. There had been murmurs for a while that Baalke could survive, bolstered by the green lighting of an extension for Baalke draft pick Walker Little, who was only a spot starter until in-season Cam Robinson trade. But it seems more likely that a clean sweep is coming, and particularly because Baalke feuded with the coaching staff over the past couple of years, which a lot of times when you get these tidbits, it's like, oh, wow, that's interesting. That's not interesting at all. We all knew from the outside looking in that, that Trent Baalke does not get along with the coaching staff, and every head coach hates him. And then even a little bit later in the column, he put that, Vrabel and Johnson are, for what it's worth, clearly the bells of this ball. Plenty of folks feel like the fit for Johnson might be in Jacksonville. So that kind of what he said on that. Then he goes on about where Vrabel might land. But yeah, these are all very, very good tidbits for, now we're filming this on Tuesday. So hopefully 6 days from now we clean house and we get some things going on. So like when you look at Shad Khan, he needs to make the right hire. I mean, night now is more important than any time because you look around right now and there's some certain situations going on right now that, may not have been here when in 2013 or 2017 or heck, even maybe 2021 that really required to get the right head coach hiring and GM hiring. But now there's so many things going on with the Jaguars. First of all, Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has played 4 seasons. Of course, this year he basically played half the year because of his injuries, and it just has been very good. But when you actually look at Trevor Lawrence's career, Trevor Lawrence came in here, all the draft experts, all the pundits said generational talent. This guy has everything you want. Wherever he goes, he's going to be a slam dunk. But he goes to Jacksonville, and now when you look back on it, in his 4-year career, he's only had 1 good season. Those are just the facts of the matter. And I truly believe in Trevor Lawrence, but those are the facts of the matter. So you do have a portion of this fan base that are saying, we need to get rid of Trevor. Get rid of him. They were wanting Mac Jones back in. Now they're all quiet about Mac Jones. They say, okay, like if we get a top draft pick, look at a guy. And I'm sitting here like, it's insane, especially in this season where we're having a quarterback renaissance. It wasn't that long ago where Baker Mayfield was pushed out by the Cleveland Browns. And since then, Baker Mayfield's been making playoffs. He's been playing incredible football while the Browns are sitting here with 3 wins. You saw the same exact thing with the New York Jets with Sam Darnold and Geno Smith. I mean, Sam Darnold is playing incredible football. What are they like? 13-2, 14-2, the Minnesota Vikings right now. He is having an incredible season. And of course, we saw Geno Smith, this year and last year do what he's doing. And I mean, heck, even Jared Goff, when you look at him, like it wasn't the right situation over there for the LA Rams. And then he goes over to the Detroit Lions, gets himself into a system, and all of a sudden he's working well. And Kevin O'Connell said it best. Like, organizations fail quarterbacks more than quarterbacks fail organizations. Is there really that much of the difference between the Jaguars, the Browns, and the Jets? Is there? How many of us can actually see Trevor Lawrence going somewhere else and doing exactly what these other guys are doing? You can't tell me that if Trevor Lawrence went to the Minnesota Vikings, he wouldn't be doing the same kind of stuff. You can't sit here and tell me that Trevor Lawrence is failing the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's not. I mean, heck, even the Panthers went out there and had Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold on the roster at the same exact time. And now they elected to draft a Bryce Young. And Bryce Young's first season was awful, and now he's playing a little bit better. But the Panthers are right there with the Jaguars, the Browns, and the Jets, okay? So we had to the Shad Khan has to make right and do what's right for Trevor Lawrence and bring in a guy that will bring the most out of him, because you also have him tied to a big contract. And I mean, if Trevor Lawrence can't get it done, I don't think anybody can. I mean, you even look at the Jets right now. They have Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers looks washed probably because of the organization. It's just, that's how it is. And also, there's a new stadium on the horizon, okay? They need to put some butts in seats, and obviously, you want the big fish. Shad Khan does not hire head coaches very often. And with that said, you got to get the right guy in place because he's probably going to be here for a while. So that's another reason. And also, you look at Shad Khan's record, 64 and 147. In his 13 years as an owner, 10 of those seasons have been double-digit loss seasons. So at some point, he's got to think, man, I would like to watch this team win, but it just hasn't really happened while he's been here. So, and with the Jaguars head coach job, there's people out there that are like, oh, like no one's going to want to come here and coach the Jaguars. The Jaguars suck. There's not an attractive opening. But what makes this such an attractive opening is the owner. Because for so many of the reasons why people think that Shad Khan is such a bad owner, that's going to make this team way more attractive because people say, oh, Shad Khan isn't, he's an absentee owner. One thing that an absentee owner is also a guy that's not going to meddle. Okay, you look at some of these other openings, like the New York Jets, Woody Johnson meddles like crazy. The Carolina Panthers, their owner meddles like crazy. And for that reason, like you don't want an owner that's going to hamstring you and basically tell you what to do. Same with like the Dallas Cowboys, So Shad Khan is going to let the football people do their thing. Also, Shad Khan is incredibly patient. He doesn't have a quick trigger finger. You don't think a head coach would want to come here knowing that, hey, this owner is very patient and he doesn't meddle. Those are awesome things. And also, the Jaguars, Shad Khan gives all the money in the world for these GMs and these head coaches to succeed. He doesn't hold back. He doesn't get cheap. He allows them to spin, whatever's going to make them do best. And, that's one thing, like if for example, the Cincinnati Bengals job were open, which they're 8-8 right now, so I don't imagine that job will be open. But, you look at the Bengals and it's like, yeah, the Bengals have a better roster. Joe Burrow is better than Trevor Lawrence, all this stuff. But one thing about the Cincinnati Bengals is that their owner is pretty cheap. And that's one thing that that teams may not, or like the potential candidates may not like. So, yeah, for all the reasons why Shad Khan, looks like a bad owner to fans, it makes him a great owner for people who actually want to run the football organization. So, yeah, lots of stuff here. Like, I mean, maybe I'm too optimistic, but I think the Jaguars get Ben Johnson. I think this is a very attractive job. The roster, it may not be the best in a lot of parts, but heck, you got a quarterback, you got a wide receiver one with Brian Thomas Jr., you have, defensive ends like Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker. There's some holes in here, but of course, any head coach opening, there's probably going to be some holes. So get the right guys in place. I would definitely like to hire Ben Johnson, let him bring in his own guy, and just a guy that they can work lock and step. They see eye to eye. There's not, this guy running to Shad Khan saying this about the other guy and this all the ridiculous stuff probably going on within the Jaguars organization. That's just that's what I want to see. And also, final note, in 2025, let's change the uniforms, okay? Let's bring in some new uniforms, and we're going to get some new life, and everything will be better. Trevor Lawrence, Ben Johnson, new uniforms, boom. And by new uniforms, I mean go back to the old uniforms with the Prowler uniforms. So, lots going on. I'm so excited that we're, like, finally here at the final week of the season where we can finally flip the page and stop just going through the motions of watching these football games without really any emotions. And I'm just looking forward to it. But all right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Last video 2024. So hope you guys have a great one. See you in 2025. Go Jags. Fire Balky. Fire Peterson. Hire Ben Johnson. And shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. Like on your way out. And go Jags.